All right, Meg. That's episode number 2 of
Number two.
Number 2, Charter Text Drive Your Business podcast. What do we talk about on this episode?
Well, we are talking about our 10-year business ownership anniversary. It's very exciting stuff. So we're talking about some stories. We got some things that we went through a polar vortex.
Brr.
Our first week of business ownership. So that was very crazy. We survived a global pandemic. We share some other fun stories. Just accomplishments that we have
Is there
personally.
apocalypse in there by chance?
It felt like it. Sure felt like it still does. Some accomplishments, both personal and business. So I think it's a pretty interesting episode. I think it's fun.
Hello, Megan. And welcome back. This is the episode number 2.
Ooh, two.
Number two.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Charter Tech Podcast, Drive Your Business, episode number 2. We've learned a lot of things since the first episode.
It was a big learning curve, wasn't it?
It was. We've forgotten a lot of things since the last one. A lot of things have changed.
Somebody got a haircut.
Yeah. How am I looking?
Somebody got his hair done.
Yeah, I got my hair cut. I got a new set of contacts.
Yeah, he got rid of the glasses.
So
He had a glow up over the 2 months.
yeah.
I mean, glow up, but
I don't know what is a glow up?
Yeah. Have you heard that before?
No, explain it to me.
It's like when you just have this, you go from the ugly duckling phase to all of a sudden you're like good looking.
Oh, well, thank you. So on episode,
I was being
if you haven't seen episode 1, I am an ugly duckling.
Quack, quack.
And apparently I am no more.
Well, what'd you say right before we started?
So I've lost a few pounds.
Yeah, good for you.
So
Yeah.
it's now 2024.
Yes, it is.
The new year. This is the new me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And speaking of feeling good, people have been asking us about the intro song.
Yeah, it fits well.
Yes.
I love it.
And the actual name of that song is Feeling Good. It's by Nick Perry and Underground Thieves. My good buddy Nick Perry.
Great song, great dude.
So he gave us the instrumental version to use. Shout out to Nick Perry. And that's actually me playing drums on that.
I didn't know you played the drums.
Oh, yes, you did.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. So how was your New Year's? Did you do anything fun?
Yeah. I leading up to it, I was really, really done with 2023.
Yeah.
So 2024 is going to be our year. Getting this podcast going and everything. But yeah, it was fun. The Mummers Parade, I always go to that. So
you went to the Mummers Parade?
Yeah.
On New Year's Day?
On New Year's Day. It's always a mess.
So anyone out there watching this, it's a big Philly tradition. It goes from right through the heart of South Philly.
Yep.
And it's a bunch of people who dress up and they
dance.
They dance in the streets and they march and they got their banjos and the drums and
the first
saxophones.
The first half of it are the fancies, and this is a big Philly tradition. It's not elsewhere, which I didn't realize until I went to college. And I'm like, oh, you guys don't have the mummers? And they're like, what? But the fancies are just a bunch of dudes who dress up in weird costumes, and they're still cool. But the string bands are fun. That's when it gets really fun, and you can dance on Broad Street and have a good time. So that part's really fun. So.
Yeah. I've been down to a few myself.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey dressed up as a mummer.
Yes, he did.
When the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Big thing right
there.
there.
Had their parade.
Yeah.
So my New Year's was it was pretty low key. Just went over to a friend's house and watched people drink their cocktails while I ate the shrimp cocktail.
Oh.
Well,
that's a good alternative,
Hey, I'll take shrimp cocktail over a cocktail any day.
That's just put it in your little highball. Was that what they call that glass? The martini glass?
No. I just stand there right next to the thing and eat it up.
You just take it right off the tray?
Yeah.
Oh, are you offering me one? No. I'm just eating them all.
I just stand right there at the table. Everyone else is at the bar. I'm next to the shrimp cocktail.
Well, we know where Steve's gonna be all night.
So yeah, it's 2024. I thought by now, I mean, from watching Back to the Future
Yes.
when I was a kid, I thought we would be flying by now.
With our shoes, you mean?
I mean, just vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Vehicles in general flying, because they flew to 2015, I believe, which
Oh
was
my gosh.
9 years ago now.
Isn't that
And if
crazy?
you remember, as soon as they get into 2015, they're flying. There's no roads. They're up there.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
They didn't need roads.
But also the self-tying high tops and stuff, right? Wasn't that the
Oh, I could use that.
yeah.
Ooh.
They untie all the time. But yeah, like they were self-tying high tops, right? The shoes?
I guess they were.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember that detail. I just remember the vehicles were flying. Do you remember any school buses flying in that by chance?
I don't actually. We'll have to go back and watch that
So,
again.
yeah, the flying vehicles is a prediction that did not happen. A lot of other things did. We are getting into futuristic things in school buses. They're talking a lot
Yeah.
about electrification. That's a big deal in the school bus world
Pretty cool.
right now. A lot of laws have been passed for vehicles to be zero emissions.
By a certain year, right? Like
Well, yeah,
depends on the
I
state.
mean, some states. I mean, I have it right here. New York State. All their new buses are supposed to be zero emission by 2027.
Holy moly, it's 3 years from now.
Yes,
That's-
3 years from now. California, all new school buses. Did I say vehicles? School buses.
Right.
All new school buses in New York by 2027. California is 2035.
Okay. Right.
So that could be electrification or other methods of zero emission. It's definitely not diesel.
Right. It's not how we operate here in Pennsylvania.
So we are moving towards the future. I'm not sure how much electricity it would take to actually make a bus fly. Quite a bit, right?
So yeah, I guess so. I was thinking propellers, but that wouldn't work either.
It's still a lot of electricity.
It would have to be fixed wings on the school bus. It can't be yeah, man. I can't imagine that. It's gonna be a lot of work for us.
I
Bus
mean, I
owners.
guess a flying bus would just be a plane, right?
Or a helicopter. All right, kids, get on the jet. We're
Yeah.
going 4 miles down the road.
I mean, they call them Airbuses, right?
That's true. They
So,
do.
I
Yeah.
guess we are in the future. I don't know. What are we talking about?
I don't know. But
Yeah.
thanks for the electrification update.
Yes. So 2024 is our year, as Meg says.
Future, here we come.
Year. It did mark a big milestone
Yes.
for us as business owners for our school bus company, Superior Bus Service. January 1st, 2024 marked the 10-year anniversary of us going into business together in this crazy industry that we are in.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years, man! 10 years! 10 years! 10 years! 10 years!
Gross point blank there.
Good movie. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 10 years. Like every year has been crazy and a learning adjustment and a big learning curve, like everything, like we keep saying in all of our content. Yeah, I mean, what sticks out to you?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, do you remember when we signed the contracts to take over the business?
Yeah.
Do you remember going out to celebrate?
Yes.
I mean, we went to a kind of a crappy pizza shop,
Yeah.
but we brought our own bottle of wine.
No, it was champagne. We brought champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah. Yeah, we like the pizza shop was in a strip mall, which is
Maybe
kind of normal.
Maybe I had a little bit too much. I remember it as wine.
Well, no, I remember that we wrote the date down and the occasion on the cork. That's why I remember. So,
Oh, okay. Do you have that cork?
no. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
And we, a couple of us went with your nephew out to Great Wolf Lodge.
Yes.
So that was,
Up in the Poconos. That was super fun.
yeah. So Great Wolf Lodge, we were going out to do some water slides, some indoor pools and
Yeah.
hot tubs.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I like Great Wolf Lodge. I would like to go back. I don't have a kid though. Is it weird to go to a place like Great Wolf Lodge
Yes.
just as a
Just as an adult.
just kind of hang out there.
Yeah, I think it's pretty weird.
Yeah,
There are
it's-
plenty of other water parks you could go to, but I don't know. I think it would be bizarre if you just went and hung out with like remember they had some of those rooms that had like bunk beds and like den. They would call it the wolf den.
Yeah.
You're just hanging out in those rooms by yourself.
Yeah.
You could take the bus drivers.
Yeah, I guess I gotta get myself a kid. And
You could
get a-
borrow a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's like
borrow your
those people that
child?
go to Disney World as adults. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's
Yeah. I mean, I went to Orlando recently and I'm sitting next to these people on the plane who, they were the type of people that clapped when the plane landed. And I was like, "Oh, do you come down? You come here often?" And they're like, "Yeah, every year for 20 years." I'm like, "Oh, there's other things in this world to do.
yeah.
Why don't you go to a Disney World in another country?" I mean, but it's still pretty cool. There's a lot to do at those, I guess. I haven't been there.
Yeah,
In a long
I've
time.
never been there as an adult.
Me neither. I was a kid.
Yeah, so I don't remember what it was like. I don't remember if I remember seeing a lot of adults roaming around unattended
Unattended.
without children.
Well, actually, this just reminds me, and going back to the Kelsey brothers, which we're a big fan of their podcast, but I don't know how long ago was the podcast I was listening to yesterday was Travis Kelsey was saying he was one of those kids that had to go on a leash because his mom was getting so mad at him, just constantly wandering off at
Yeah.
their Ohio theme park. So she had to put him on a leash.
Yeah,
You were one of those leash kids? I don't remember that, Jason kept saying.
I could see that. I could see Travis being the one who has to be on the leash.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know they existed back then. Not that he's old, but so pretty funny.
Yeah, so we are in our 10th year as a school bus company. Well, actually, the company's been around since '82, so we are actually in our 42nd year. But Meg and I are in our 10th year of running it.
Yeah.
I think back of young me 10 years ago, and I don't know if I was just crazy and motivated or just stupid.
All of the above.
Yeah, I think you got to be
Not just you.
Yeah, I think anybody. I think even in any business, you have to be a little bit of all of that.
Yeah.
A little naive.
Yeah. We can do this. It's going to be
And I
fine.
think back of all the things that we've been through and things that we continue to go through.
Do you remember the first week? Like our first week of business ownership here?
No, I've blocked out. I block out everything. I don't even remember the last week.
Well, me neither, actually. This was a blur this week. But
No, I do. I remember it being really cold.
yeah, it was like the polar vortex of 2014.
Polar vortex.
Which we, in Philly, we do get some winters but it's pretty mild overall. It's not New England. But this first week that we owned the business, it was so cold that the buses weren't working.
How cold was it?
How cold was it? I don't know, like 16 degrees, right? It was like 15.
I have memories of it being even in like 6 degrees on some days.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, it was even colder. Like 16 sounded ridiculous, but 6 degrees is even dumber.
So up until that point, Superior Bus Service had never canceled a trip on any client ever. And on this one particular day, it was so cold that the buses were all shutting down.
Yeah.
And they were all shutting down like at the same time.
Right.
So as one would shut down, we go, okay, we got to, move this person around or get this bus over there and take care of that group and do
Shift
this.
shift the schedule.
And then all of a sudden another driver would call in.
Yeah.
My bus is shutting down. And it just seemed like someone like turned the power off.
Right.
Because they were all shutting down all over the place because diesel engines don't like cold weather like that.
Right.
The fuel gets
jelly?
thicker. Yeah.
Yeah, like jelly-like.
Now we kind of prepare the fuel in this area because we are in the northeast section of the country. We do prepare for those things, but not that cold. I mean,
right.
that was like Minnesota cold.
That was stupid.
That was Fargo going on there.
Fargo.
It
was stupid cold.
Yeah. So everything was shutting down all at once, and that was crazy.
We had to cancel our first trip ever for Superior, but it was also as the new owners were calling the one school that we had to cancel. And I'm like, hey, I'm Megan. I'm the new owner. And you're not getting your bus today. Your ice hockey team is not making it to their game.
Yeah. So Meg was introducing herself and canceling the bus
Yeah.
all in one phone call.
We're happy to be here as the new bus owners, but you're not going to get to your game. But also, I remember this lady, she was part of the athletic department, but she's like, why would you want to own a bus company? I'm like, well, let me tell you, I don't know.
Because I want to be my own boss. Hey, you got my mug? Got my mug? Meg, what are you doing over there? So, all right.
Okay.
What do you
I didn't have time to do any shading or anything, but I got my mug now too.
Oh, look at that, Lady Boss. All right, Lady Boss.
Ooh, next time I'll have a little bit more time to do some nice shading and stuff like that.
This sip is brought to you by Sharpie markers.
Ooh, sorry. Cheers.
Yeah. Spill the water on electronics.
Sorry about that.
All right.
So yeah, anyway, that first week was very, very rough. It was like a punch to the face or gut just to be like, oh, welcome to business ownership of a industry that you know nothing about. I knew nothing about school busing. I was just like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can figure anything out. I'm smart.
Yeah. Well, my father, who we bought the company from and had been running it at that point for 32 years, and had never canceled a trip.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Everything works out for that man.
he knew what he was doing.
Big Barry. Big Bad Barry. We'll have him on a podcast.
Oh yeah, he would be pretty funny.
Yeah. He was even going, I've never seen anything
right
like this.
Yeah. Because I mean, he was there like helping us with the transition. I'd be like, well, Barry, what do I do? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so much.
And this was maybe our third or fourth day.
Yeah.
And we were like, what have we gotten into?
Yeah. This is we made a huge mistake.
It has, but it hasn't been a huge mistake, and
no.
it did seem like it that day, and some days it does.
Yeah, some days
and
for
we
sure.
will tell a lot of those kind of stories here, where we thought it was, thought about why are we doing this?
Yeah, but then things obviously started to get better. We putting in internet and stuff like that really helped. We doubled our income in the first 18 months of owning the business, and we really figured out very quickly, because you have to. You can't just be like, I don't know what to do. You have to figure things out, and we did.
Yeah,
sure
I mean
did.
that's part of being a boss.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else really to shift the responsibility of figuring things out to.
Google helps a lot.
Google, yeah, Thank you, Google.
I know. This is brought to you by Google.
But you don't always find what you need for school buses on Google.
Definitely
it's
not.
getting better, but yeah, I mean, you gotta be gutsy sometimes to get into something like this.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if there's a problem on the lower level, they ask the next, level of management, and then the management might contact the ownership, which is us, and we can't pass that on to anybody. So we have to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely.
But fortunately, our winters aren't bad. I mean, they can be bad. We've had some bad ones, but when it is bad, being a small company, especially when it snows or the ice, I mean, we clear those things off, the school buses off ourselves with these snow squeegees. So
these giant squeegees.
So, just like you would pull water off your windshield, if you have 1 or 2 feet of snow on top of the bus, and if it's freezing or it's starting to rain, you got to get it off. You can't go down the highway with that on top of the bus, and you could potentially kill somebody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've seen videos.
Yeah. So, I mean, and some of the bigger companies have these big contraptions where you can just pull the bus right on through, and that snow comes off. And Meg won't let me buy one of those.
We're not there yet. Maybe if we get sponsors for our podcast, we can.
Yeah. So Meg says we're not there yet. Tell us about your shoulder.
Yes, I do have a torn rotator cuff, torn bicep tendon, and a torn labrum, which is the lining inside the shoulder. But I mean, that's from all kinds of things.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. I mean, we have how many buses this week? 11. We have 11. 10 buses.
We're
We're down to 10.
10.
We're down to 10 buses. We don't need a fancy contraption for one snowfall a year. I mean, several years ago, we had like every weekend it snowed, I felt like.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We've definitely been
For
lucky.
the most part, it's
Yeah.
last year. How many 200 and some days? No,
No, we
700 some days
we were at
without
the
snow.
here in the Philadelphia, greater Philadelphia area,
Loved it.
we were up to 700 plus days without any accumulating snow.
Right. Yeah, there would be like snowflakes. I'd be, oh, this is beautiful. All right, go away. Because once it starts snowing, we don't have snow days as small business owners. We have to get that snow off, like Steve was saying. And, my friends are like, just working from home, having a nice day. And I'm like, I got to go to the bus yard. So, but, it's all part of the job and learning. So it's a process.
So, what are some other things that you can think of that we've been through, with our business in the 10 years? I mean, there's been some crazy
Well,
things.
we made it through a pandemic.
There was a pandemic?
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden we were in March, which the spring season for us is the busiest season of the school year. And we are, getting ready for spring. We're gearing up. We're looking at every single day for 2 weeks of March, the second week of March on, and then just like looking at how many trips we have and planning. And then all of a sudden it just shut down.
Yeah,
And
we're real busy in the spring, as I'm sure a lot of other school bus companies are, because not only is there school runs, but there's a lot of field trips. There's a lot of sports going on that time of year. So we were booked. I remember chatting with you, looking over our schedule and going, how are we going to do all these trips?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even know how we were going to cover all of them. And that was probably March 10th or something
it
like
was.
that, March
Yeah.
11th.
Because we printed like several pages out just to have it in front of us. Look at, all right, how many trips we have going out, how many drivers do we have? It's a Tuesday, so John is available or something. And
how many vehicles do we have today?
That day?
That day,
yeah, exactly. How many were there? So it was just all of a sudden it just shut down, and we're like, well, there you go. The paper goes right into the recycling bin.
The whole thing was gone. Just every trip X'd out, gone.
Yeah. And that was what they thought it was going to be, like a 2-week shutdown.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
How long will it take to put this place together?
2 weeks.
And my sister is in the what is it? Pandemic medical disaster planning. And I was like, trying to ask her for help. Like, what do we do? What's going on in the world? And
she was like, it'll be fine. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then we shut down for nearly.
I mean, I heard 2 weeks, but it was 2 years.
Yeah. And it was a nightmare. I remember just sitting down, like, in those beginning early days of the pandemic, trying to figure out what to do. Like, we were completely shut down. There's all these things that were available of government help. And, I'm trying to figure that stuff out just so we can stay afloat. And I just remember I was at the park with Gus, our dog, and I just sat down on the ground and started crying because I was just so overwhelmed and I just couldn't figure out what to do. I had a good cry for about 30 seconds, and then and then Gus went and pooped on the other side of the yard. And I just, all right, had to get up, move on. All right, life moves on. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, nothing will
Thanks,
really.
Gus.
Yeah. Nothing really tells you to move on more than a good poop. Or
Episode 2.
a good poop story, right? Even if it comes from the dog.
Yeah, well, he reminded me that you can't just feel sorry for myself. Got to get up and move on. So we did. We figured it out eventually, got a couple of those PPP loans. Thank God.
Yeah. So it's just, even when a lot of the schools were starting to open up, that opened up some business, but it was a long time before they started doing sports and field trips.
Yeah.
They just didn't want any of that extra risk.
Right.
So it hit us particularly hard. So I believe that living through that and surviving and not losing our business, I feel like we can handle anything.
Yeah.
Including a podcast,
Right. We have
which is way harder than anything.
yeah, it's way harder than a pandemic. No, we really did survive. I can't. I feel bad for those businesses that didn't, but it was tough.
Mhm.
It was a really tough time.
It was. It was. But through it, we ended up coming up with the idea to start Charter Tech.
Yeah. What was the beginning of that again?
Well, we were just talking about it with a friend,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
he's a bit of an entrepreneur himself, and he said, "Hey, can you show me this system that you guys are talking about that you run your business off of?" So we brought him in and we showed it to him, and he said, "Why are you the only people using this? Like, why
Right.
aren't you making
That's
this
right.
available to the public? There are other companies that can benefit from everything that this does.
Right.
Just keeping your schedules all in order and all your bus records and all your vehicle records. Well, that's the same thing, isn't it? A bus is a vehicle.
They don't
Employee,
fly yet, though.
they don't. The employees do, but yeah, keeping track of your employees and just everything that it does. It's really just the best thing that there is out there on the planet. Charter Tech. And we're excited for other people to start using it. But it was really our buddy who thought of it, just to make it available to other people. We had it built just to run our company, and
Hmm.
we've been running our company now almost the full 10 years that we've had it off of this system. So
Yeah.
it's we've worked out the kinks, and now we're ready to get it out there.
Get launched.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
I mean, that's a good reminder too of just how, as entrepreneurs, you just get so bogged down by the day to day, and we were constantly just drowning, trying to keep our head above water, just trying to run the bus business, that we couldn't even be our normal entrepreneur selves and be like, oh man, we need to get this out to the people.
hmm
It's just it really, that's one of the biggest lessons that I feel like I've learned over these 10 years is just, all right, take a step back. What can we do differently to not just survive being a bus company, but also how can we grow, and not just, how many more buses can we buy? It's how can we grow the business, grow and get more property. What can we do next as entrepreneurs?
yeah.
So this is a good reminder of how to do that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it helps delegate some of the work to AI and available technology. And anytime you can delegate work out and get it off of your own shoulders, it helps a lot. You think, I got great advice when we were first starting from a friend of mine, and I was just saying to her, just telling her, I'm doing this and I'm bogged down by this and I have to do everything. And she was like, "No, you don't."
Yeah,
She's like, because I just thought, well, we can't be paying all these different people to do all these things. But what you don't think about is that when your schedule frees up a little bit, now suddenly you have this other time to do other things that can actually bring in more money.
exactly. And that's, I think that was definitely the best decision we ever made, was to hire Gina,
hmm
our transportation manager, and just her taking over a lot of the responsibilities that we had on the day to day. It just allowed us to, help move Charter Tech along and be entrepreneurs again, as opposed to just being school bus owners.
Yeah, I mean, that's the greatest advice I ever got, and I just want to pass that advice along to anyone out there.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like you're doing too much just to save a couple dollars, you will probably make a lot more money, delegating that work out and freeing yourself up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Unless it comes to snow removal, and then that's what we do ourselves.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. What were you going to say?
I that's you got me. See, now I'm thinking about pulling all that snow off with the snow squeegee,
It's a
and
giant snow squeegee.
I just hate winter. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Well, it's still winter right now, but
Yes,
it's spring is coming, man. And you know what that means?
Phillies.
Yep.
Yes, I
Phillies
am
are
a big
coming.
Phillies fan. Meg is a big Phillies fan.
Yeah.
So,
So that's coming up. So at least we got that to look forward to. How many days till pitchers and catchers?
I try not to think about that too much because it makes it slower
Oh,
for
okay.
me. It's like when I was in school and I was counting down how many days were left
Right.
until
That's
summer
true.
vacation. So I kind of don't do that. Plus, they show up and it's like, okay, they're there. It's not like there's games to watch.
I know, but still, it's a countdown. I'm surprised you don't have one of those, like, you pull off a day every time. All right, we're getting closer to pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, no, it would make it seem so long to
Yeah.
me. I don't want to keep track.
I don't even know when opening day is actually, but I mean, I was talking about it this morning with a friend, so about going.
So we chatted a lot about the things that have happened in our business for 10 years.
Mhm.
Anything, what's happened in your life in the past 10 years? That milestones, anything exciting, and.
Well, I survived, so that's good.
Yeah.
Surviving 10
And you
years of
survived the
this.
pandemic.
Survived the pandemic.
Yep.
2023 was not a great year, so again, I'm excited about this 2024. But I think a lot happened personally and in good ways. But my biggest thing, I think, was getting back into my roots of soccer. I played soccer through college, and I loved it. But I started coaching. And my first year as a coach, I started a travel league or travel team in this city of Philadelphia league, and we won. Like, we won the championship.
Mhm.
And it was all because of my nephew Eamon that I started this team. But like, he was like scored like 23 goals that year, and we won the city championship. And we ran up the Rocky steps, and that was really fun.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, that was huge for me, and just getting back to something that I love and volunteering. So yeah, that was pretty cool, getting back into coaching, being around kids and yelling at kids.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you what's your personal achievements? You have some cool ones.
Yeah, I mean, I as we mentioned at the top of the program, I play drums. I've played drums all my life. My father was a drummer, so I started, pretty much as soon as I could walk around. Probably even before I could even walk.
That's how I was with soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I have a photo of me playing this makeshift drum set that my dad built out of wood and rubber. Didn't make any noise at 2 years old.
That's so cool.
So that was at 2 years old, and I always aspired to be a professional drummer, and I did that for many years. I had a lot of notable gigs. I put out a lot of albums with different bands.
Mm-hmm.
I even toured around with the band Rusted Root.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who Rusted Root is, you do.
Yeah.
You may not know the band name.
Right. If you've seen Ice Age or any Disney movies,
Yeah,
you know it.
Matilda.
Oh,
On my way.
I don't know if we can actually sing it.
On my way.
Send me on my way.
Well, I can't sing it. I can do that
Send me
part
on
because
my way.
I started doing that part towards the end.
That's pretty cool.
On my way. So
you're back there on the drum kit. On my way.
On my way. I got to do a lot of touring with Rusted Root. They took me all over the place.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I was thinking when I used to be out on tour with them, I used to spend a lot of time up front with the driver of the tour bus. There was one tour that we did where
So what do you got, discs or air brakes up here?
So there was one tour where our tour bus driver was actually the owner of his company. He just happened to be out, doing a run, I guess.
Well, owner operator,
like I did, and he didn't have to. He, again, talking about delegation, he doesn't have to be out there. He just wanted to go out on this run.
Oh, okay.
So he was out with us, and I was just kind of picking his brain as much as possible, and just hearing a different perspective, because it's similar in the fact that it's a bus. It's busing people around. It's charter. Rusted Root chartered this bus to take them from city to city, and he just explained to me, the differences between how to run his company, and then I was telling him, how we run our company, and we were comparing and contrasting, and it was really interesting to speak to another bus company owner is somewhat in the same business, but different also.
Yeah.
Our drivers come back at the end of every shift.
Yeah, I wonder how that works for him. You go on the road for 3 weeks minimum generally on tours. So
I mean, it could be years, sometimes months.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's definitely some big tours out there these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like that would almost be easier as running that kind of company. But each company comes with their own sets of challenges. But I feel like one driver is set for 3 weeks to 3 months. Like, all right, see you, Joe. Just don't break down.
Yeah, well, they do.
Just don't break down in Arkansas.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, your buses are just all over the country, all over the continent, really.
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that was neat. I really enjoyed that perspective. Hanging out with the driver more than the guys in the band.
You always go back to your roots.
I did have another accomplishment where I finally got to visit my 50th state.
That's right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So with all the touring that I've done over the years, I've been to a lot of states, but 2 of them are especially hard, and that's Alaska and Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Rusted Root took me to Alaska.
That's pretty cool.
Which was fantastic.
Did you guys play on an iceberg? Send me on my way. On my way.
That's what the singer says whenever he calls anybody, on my way. So we were in Alaska, and we played a couple shows up there, which is awesome. And then they would fly us from one show to the next on these little propeller planes to get over glaciers, and
it's kind of cool.
That was really neat. So after that particular tour, I had only one state left, and it was Hawaii.
That's so cool. What a great last state to go to.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like America. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so got to finally go to Hawaii, and I really didn't want to go back. I was looking at the school bus industry out there while I was there.
Yeah, Superior Bus Service operations in Hawaii. It sounds amazing. That's pretty cool. That's what a state to be your 50th. I haven't been to nearly half the states.
Yeah, it's there are some that are worth going to. There are some that aren't. Yeah. But you go through all of them when you're in a touring band.
Yeah, you're in a tour bus. Yeah, I've been to 4 continents.
Yeah, you got me beat there.
That's something. I mean, I still have a bunch to go, but
I think I've done 2.
Yeah.
3 maybe. So I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though. I remember meeting Michael from Rusted Root, and the confusion that happened with pool table.
Yeah. So I was going out to meet the guys because there was the potential that I could become their drummer.
Right.
And we went to go hang out, and Michael Glebicki, the singer songwriter of Rusted Root, he invited us out to go hang out after the show, and we were just kind of sitting around, and Meg was giving me just some time alone with Michael so that I could get to know him. And Michael leans over and he goes, "Is she cool? Is she cool?" I was like, "Yeah, she's cool." He's like, "All right, cool. Let's go over here." So we go back into this room, and there's a pool table, and there's 2 people playing pool, and Michael challenges them to pool.
Puts his quarters down on the table.
It turns out he didn't say, "Is she cool?" He said, "Do you play pool?" And I don't. I stink.
It was really loud in the bar too. So
yeah, I grew up with a pool table, but I do not like the game. I'm terrible at it. So next thing I know, I'm playing the one of the games where you with the ball.
Billiards?
I don't know. With the 8 balls, the last one you knock in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main one I know.
So I'm missing every shot. Michael's great. The other guys are good.
Yeah.
So he's carrying our team completely. Wouldn't you know, the 8 ball comes down to me.
Yeah. You were the I was like, oh my god.
The game is on the line, right?
And it was the only ball left on the table.
Yeah.
So it was sudden death.
Yeah.
One of you had to get it in. Or if you didn't, the other team would have.
And I sunk that ball.
You sunk it. Yep. It was the first ball of the game you actually put in.
Yeah. Long story short, I became Rusted Root's drummer.
It all came down to that. But it was so funny.
I was on my way.
On my way. The bar was so loud. Was she cool? Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, he just didn't understand why you were sitting not with us.
Yeah,
you
like I
know?
was like, giving you guys space. I
Yeah, it
wanted, I
was
wanted you.
a networking opportunity.
Yeah, I was like, have your time. I don't
I
need
guess
to.
he thought maybe you were mad.
Yeah. Why aren't you paying attention to me? I definitely am not like that.
Yeah.
I make my own fun everywhere I go. So anyway, that was a pretty funny meeting of we go to see this band and I've never seen them before, but I knew who they were,
Mhm.
obviously. And then
Maybe we'll get Michael on a podcast
that'd be pretty
when they
fun.
come through town. He became one of my best friends. We share a birthday. I went to his wedding that was at his house. It's just funny how you think back of times like that, and then how we became really tight and
That's
close.
funny.
And I don't see him as often anymore, but we do make sure to reach out to one another every January 22nd.
Were you trying to tell everybody your birthday?
January 22nd.
Funnily enough, mine's 2 days later.
Yeah,
The 24th.
And my sister's birthday is on the 22nd as well.
That's funny.
We're not twins. She's 7 years younger than me.
Well, your best 7th birthday gift ever, right?
Yeah. When you're 7 years old, you want to have that big party, right? Nope, everybody's at the hospital.
Poor Steven's all alone.
Yes. I think I need therapy. I still haven't given that up.
No, you
Little
haven't.
thief of a sister.
Thief. What a thief. Yeah, that's pretty funny though.
All right. Well, I think that's going to conclude episode number 2 of
Yeah.
Drive Your Business podcast by Charter Tech. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was probably a non-conventional kind of one today. I mean, we're going to work on getting some guests in and having a bit more fun. But today was, we just had to celebrate our milestone, 10 years.
Got to celebrate us.
10 years! Got to celebrate us. We're the most important people in the room.
All right,
Sorry.
ladies and gentlemen. Talk to you next time.
Bye-bye!